You know Grandma always wanted Lily to have the ring, Aunt Margaret said as she slid the velvet box into my sister's hand. The dining room was glowing with sunlight, the scent of cinnamon rolls still lingering in the air. The table was covered with old photographs, half-drunk coffee, and everyone pretending this was a celebration of Grandma's life, not a scramble for what she left behind. I stood there, frozen, watching Lily's smug smile stretch as she slipped Grandma's cherished sapphire ring onto her finger. The same ring Grandma once let me try on secretly when I was 10. No one looked at me. No one asked what I thought. She was always closest to Grandma, someone whispered behind me. My stomach tightened. I didn't argue. I didn't even flinch. Because while Lily got the ring, I own the land she was standing on. My name is Emily Hayes. I'm 32 years old, and I've always been the quiet one in the family. The observer. The helper. The one who didn't demand attention, but who remembered everything. Growing up, my bond with Grandma June was the only place I ever felt seen. She lived on the edge of town, in a little white farmhouse with blue shutters and a creaky porch swing. Every summer, I'd stay with her for weeks, planting tomatoes, picking wildflowers, and learning how to make cornbread from scratch in her warm, sunlit kitchen. The radio always played old jazz, and the kitchen always smelled like lavender and lemon. Lily, my older sister, rarely visited. She was too busy with dance classes and parties. But she was beautiful and charismatic, the kind of person who turned heads without trying. The kind of person Grandma would always smile at, even when Lily forgot to call on her birthday. I never expected anything from Grandma. Not the house, not the ring, not even recognition. I just loved her. She was my anchor. When I was 16, Grandma sat with me under the old elm tree behind her house. She handed me a dusty photo album and whispered, "You see all this land, Em? Someday it'll be yours. Because you've always treated it like home." I didn't think much of it then. I was just a teenager with dirt on my knees and a heart too full to question her. But over the years, I kept showing up. Fixing broken fences. Painting shutters. Mowing grass when no one else offered. I never posted it on social media. I never kept score. So when Grandma passed away and the will was read, no one expected my name to be on the deed. But it was. She'd left me the house, the garden, and every square foot of the land it sat on. The ring? Sure, it sparkled. But what I had roots. I waited until the chatter in the living room settled. Lily was still admiring the ring, holding her hand up to the light like it was a trophy. A few of the cousins were complimenting her, and Aunt Margaret looked pleased with how smoothly things had gone. I cleared my throat gently. There's one more thing Grandma left behind. Everyone turned. Even Lily. I reached into my leather bag and pulled out a simple manila folder. No frills. No drama. Just quiet power. Before she passed, I said calmly, Grandma had her lawyer update the property deed. She asked me to take care of it. And this, I opened the folder and held up a copy of the official document, is proof that she left the house and all the land to me. The room went still. The kind of still that makes your ears ring. Lily blinked. What are you talking about? I walked over to the antique sideboard where Grandma kept her tea tins and laid the paper down. I've owned this land for 6 months. Grandma wanted to make sure it stayed with someone who would love it like she did. Lily stared at me like I had just flipped the table. Lily's laugh was sharp, hollow. You've got to be kidding me. She snatched the folder off the sideboard, her manicured nails trembling slightly as she skimmed the paper. This has to be a mistake. Grandma never said anything about this to me. She didn't need to. I replied, my voice calm. She trusted me to take care of it. Aunt Margaret stepped forward, frowning. Emily, this is a family home. It's not something you just claim with paperwork. That's not how Grandma would have wanted things handled. I turned to her. Then why did she sign the transfer herself, 6 months before she passed? I didn't ask for it, she insisted. Lily's face flushed red. You don't even live here, Em. You're barely part of this family anymore. I was the one who stayed close, who showed up. Once a year for brunch, I said gently. Grandma kept track. She just never said it out loud. The room was tense, like everyone had suddenly realized the script had flipped. My quiet presence wasn't passive anymore. It was power. Uncle Martin chimed in from the back, nervously sipping his coffee. Well, if it's legally hers, we can't really argue. Lily turned on him. Seriously? You're taking her side? I watched as the mask she wore, poised, polished, perfect, began to crack. And I wasn't even enjoying it. I just felt sad. She gave you the ring, Lily, I said softly. And that's fine. Grandma knew how much you loved it. But she gave me something deeper. Something she knew I'd protect. She probably did it out of guilt, Lily snapped. You were always the sensitive one. She didn't want you to feel left out. No, came a new voice. We all turned to see Clara, our cousin, step forward. She'd been silent until now, quietly watching from the armchair by the window. I was there, Clara said, when Grandma made the changes. She said Emily had been the one holding this place together for years. She told the lawyer and me, this land needs someone with roots in it, not just memories. Lily's mouth fell open. You knew? She asked Clara. Clara nodded. I didn't say anything because it wasn't mine to tell. But Emily didn't ask for it. Grandma made that choice. The silence that followed was heavier than any shouting match. Lily dropped the folder back on the table. So what now? You kick us all off the property? Evict the family? I shook my head. No. But there will be changes. No more showing up uninvited. No more using the house like a free event space. If you want to visit, you ask. You respect the land. That's what Grandma wanted. Aunt Margaret scoffed. Sounds like power's gone to your head. No, I replied quietly. It's gone to my heart. This place is my responsibility now. I'm going to honor that, even if it makes some people uncomfortable. For the first time in years, I stood without shrinking, and everyone saw it. The days that followed weren't easy. Lily stopped speaking to me altogether. She left the house in a whirlwind of expensive perfume and slammed doors, muttering something about family betrayal and being ambushed. Aunt Margaret took her side, of course, and I got cold shoulders and snide remarks from half the cousins for weeks. But I didn't lash out. I didn't send long texts or try to explain myself. Instead, I poured my energy into restoring the farmhouse just like Grandma always wanted. I started with the garden. It had been overgrown for years, hidden beneath weeds and neglect. I spent entire afternoons on my knees, hands in the soil, uncovering roots I hadn't seen since I was a teenager. I found the bench Grandma used to sit on and restained it. I even fixed the creaky swing on the porch. Each task brought a strange peace. Like Grandma was still there with me. Clara stopped by one afternoon with homemade lemonade. You okay? She asked, wiping sweat from her brow as we pruned rose bushes together. I think so, I said. It hurts, but it also feels right. She nodded. Lily will come around. Maybe not today. But someday. Maybe, I said. But even if she doesn't, I'm okay with that. Later that week, I hosted a small gathering at the house. Nothing fancy. Just tea, some pastries, and an invitation to a few people who had quietly supported me over the years. My best friend Rachel brought her toddler, who ran barefoot across the grass, giggling. Uncle Martin came, looking a little sheepish but offering to fix the front steps without being asked. And then, surprisingly, Lisa showed up. Lisa was Lily's best friend. She'd been inseparable from her since high school and usually followed her lead. But something was different now. I hope it's okay I came, Lisa said as she handed me a bouquet of fresh daisies. Of course, I smiled, surprised. She looked down at her shoes. I needed to see this place again. I spent so many summers here with you both. I forgot how peaceful it felt. We ended up sitting on the porch swing, watching the sunset turn the sky a soft shade of gold. I always admired you, Emily, Lisa said quietly. You never needed to be loud or perfect. You just were. Solid. And Grandma saw that. Tears pricked my eyes. She did, I whispered. And I think that's what saved me. Lisa looked out at the field, then back at me. Lily's hurting, you know. Not because she didn't get the land, but because deep down she knows she didn't earn it. That's a hard thing to admit to yourself. I sighed. I'm not trying to punish her.
I just need boundaries now.
And peace. Lisa nodded. That's fair. And brave. A week later, I got a text from Lily. I was wrong. About a lot. I don't know how to fix it, but I'm sorry. I stared at the message for a long time. And then, simply, I replied, thank you. Let's start with coffee. No fireworks. No long speeches. Just two sisters trying. That moment didn't undo the pain, but it opened a door. And I was ready to let light in again. Because in the end, the real inheritance wasn't land or rings or titles.
It was strength.
Quiet strength. The kind that grows deep, like the roots beneath Grandma's garden. 3 months later, the farmhouse looked different. The shutters were now a cheerful navy blue. The garden bloomed in full color, rows of marigolds, lavender, and Grandma's favorite, daisies. The porch swing no longer creaked, and wind chimes sang gently in the breeze. Peace lived here again. I stood at the edge of the garden, barefoot in the soft grass, watching a small group of children from the neighborhood pick strawberries from the vines I'd planted in April. Their laughter echoed like wind through the leaves. Every Saturday now, I host a little community garden workshop. Families come with their kids. Some bring seedlings. Others bring stories. I teach them what Grandma taught me, not just how to grow food, but how to be still, how to notice things, how to belong. Inside the house, Clara and Rachel were preparing sandwiches and lemonade for everyone. Lisa had just arrived with 2 folding chairs and her own homemade pie. She was different now, lighter, somehow. She had finally moved out of the city and started her own event planning business. The kind of independence she never thought she could claim while orbiting Lily's world. And Lily? She was coming today. It had taken time and slow conversations over coffee, but she had begun to understand. Not everything, not all at once, but enough to recognize that what Grandma gave me wasn't a prize. It was a calling. When she stepped onto the porch, she was holding something wrapped in a velvet cloth. I've been thinking about this for a while, she said, her voice quiet. She handed it to me. I opened the cloth gently. Inside was Grandma's sapphire ring. I want you to have it, Lily said. I wore it like it made me important, but it never really fit. Not the way it fits you. I didn't say anything. I just took her hand and pulled her into a hug. We didn't erase the past, but we started rewriting the future. Later, as the sun dipped low and bathed the yard in amber light, I sat on the porch swing with a cup of chamomile tea and watched the kids chase fireflies. Grandma's radio, yes, the same one, played softly in the background, filling the air with a jazz tune I hadn't heard in years. Clara joined me, leaning back against the porch railing. You did it, you know, she said. You made this place whole again. I smiled. Grandma made it. I just kept it alive. She looked at the old elm tree in the distance, the same one where Grandma once told me the land would be mine. She'd be proud, Clara whispered. I nodded. I hope so. As twilight settled in, and the first stars began to peek through the sky, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Stillness, joy, and a soft, glowing certainty. This wasn't about revenge. Not really. It was about rising, about growing, about choosing love, even after being overlooked. Because sometimes the quietest roots hold up the tallest trees. And in the place where I was once invisible, I had finally been seen.